the supposed birthplace of the prophet Zoroaster, and was built, according to legend, on the site of the Garden of Eden. There he taught history, geometry, and English to mixed classes. He insisted on accepting girls as well as boys at the American Memorial School. He also became the school's tennis coach and riding instructor, directed a student production of The Merchant of Venice, and closed his first Thanksgiving sermon with a stirring verse from Sir Walter Scott. "Breathes there a man with soul so dead, who never to himself hath said, 'This is my home, my native land.'" Baskerville's students would have found those words excruciating. For decades, their prostrate homeland, heir to a great empire led by heroic kings like Cyrus, Darius, and Xerxes, had been misruled by a dissolute dynasty and looted by rapacious outside powers. In 1907, Britain and Russia signed a convention dividing Persia, as Iran was then known, into spheres of influence. Britain took the southern part of the country, Russia the north. No Iranian participated in or even knew about the negotiations that produced this agreement. Yet the early 20th century was an age of ferment and rebellion, as well as imperial power. The Boers overthrew British rule in South Africa. Russian insurgents forced Tsar Nicholas II to establish a legislature. The Russo-Japanese War ended with victory for Japan, suggesting that Europeans were not fated to dominate Asians forever. None of these shattering events went unnoticed in Iran. Anger at the docile Qajar dynasty and at the foreign powers it served sparked waves of protest. In 1906, these protests achieved their unimaginable goal: democratic revolution. The king, Muzaffar al-Din Shah, was forced to make concessions like those King John had made 7 centuries earlier when he signed the Magna Carta. He agreed to permit the proclamation of a constitution, the holding of elections, and the establishment of a parliament. Under the new constitution, freedom of speech and freedom of the press were guaranteed. Monarchs were forbidden to sign treaties or borrow money without approval from Parliament, and all citizens were declared equal before the law. 5 days after reluctantly accepting this constitution, the pain may have been too great for him, Muzaffar al-Din Shah died. His son and successor, Muhammad Ali Shah, described by one contemporary as perhaps the most perverted, cowardly, and vice-sodden monster that had disgraced the throne of Persia for many generations, loathed the new democracy. Determined to crush it, he dissolved Parliament, and then on June 3, 1908, sent Russian-led artillery units to bomb the building where it met. Scores of deputies were killed. Protests broke out across the country, but the Shah ruthlessly crushed them. The only city he could not subdue was Tabriz, which, because of its location near the borders with Russia and Turkey, was the portal through which democratic ideas had been streaming into the country for years. Howard Baskerville was in Tabriz when Royalist soldiers began their siege at the beginning of 1909. He was instinctively drawn to the constitutional cause and spent many evenings with volunteer brigades bringing food to fighters defending the city. Slowly he came to conclude that this was not enough. News of the Anglo-Russian Convention outraged him, and he delivered withering tirades to his students, aimed especially at Sir Edward Grey, the British Foreign Secretary, whom he scorned as a hypocrite for spouting the platitudes of democracy while supporting the slaughter of Iranians who were fighting for it. One of his closest Iranian friends, Hussein Sharifzadeh, became a leader of the Tabriz resistance, and when Sharifzadeh was assassinated, his outrage reached new heights. In the spring of